History remembers the headlines. We find the bylines. This is the Unsung. In 1959, a Swedish engineer drew 3 lines on a piece of paper. One diagonal, one horizontal, one vertical. That simple sketch, filed with the U.S. Patent Office as number 3,043,625, would become the single most effective life-saving device in the entire history of the automobile. The company that owned it, Volvo, was sitting on a gold mine. Instead of cashing in, they gave it away. This is the story of how a quiet engineer and a forward-thinking car company decided that human lives were worth more than billions of dollars. The man behind the patent was Nils Bohlin, and here's the interesting part. He wasn't a car guy. Not at all. His background was in aviation. For years, he worked at Saab as an aircraft engineer, designing one of the most extreme safety systems imaginable: ejection seats. His job was to figure out how to safely blast a pilot out of a failing fighter jet at hundreds of miles per hour. He spent his days studying the brutal physics of G-forces and rapid deceleration. Bohlin understood something that most automakers of the era completely missed. When a vehicle stops suddenly, the human body doesn't just get thrown forward. It folds, it crumples. It breaks in ways that are both predictable and horrifying. His work with pilots taught him that survival wasn't just about holding a person in place. It was about managing the immense forces acting upon their body, distributing the impact across the strongest points of the human skeleton, the pelvis and the ribcage. So when Volvo came knocking, they weren't just hiring another car designer. They were hiring an expert in human biomechanics under extreme duress. Their mission for him was clear and urgent. In the late 1950s, the concept of a seatbelt wasn't new. The 2-point lap belt had been around for a while. You'd buckle it across your waist, and that was it. But there was a deadly problem. While these lap belts could keep you from being thrown out of the car, they often caused catastrophic internal injuries in a crash. Imagine a high-speed collision. Your lower body is anchored, but your upper body jackknifes forward with incredible force, folding your spine over the belt. Doctors started calling these specific, gruesome injuries seatbelt syndrome. The very device meant to save you was causing devastating damage to your internal organs and spine. Because of this, many car manufacturers were hesitant to install seatbelts at all. Their marketing departments were terrified that even mentioning safety would scare customers, making them think about the inherent dangers of driving. It was a bizarre, dangerous logic. If we don't talk about crashes, maybe people won't think they happen. Volvo saw things differently. The company's president had lost a relative in a car accident, and the tragedy made safety a personal crusade. He hired Nils Bohlin in 1958 with one directive: solve the seatbelt problem. Bohlin got to work. Drawing on his aviation experience, he knew he needed to secure both the upper and lower body. But it also had to be simple. If a safety device is too complicated, people won't use it. After just 1 year of development, he had the solution. It was elegant. It was brilliant. It was the 3-point seatbelt. His design consisted of a single, continuous strap. One section went across the lap, anchoring the pelvis. Another section crossed the torso diagonally, securing the chest and shoulder. The 2 straps met at a buckle point near the hip, forming a V shape that pointed down. Crucially, it could be buckled with just one hand. This wasn't just a restraint, it was an energy distribution system. In a crash, the forces were now spread across the strong, bony structures of the chest and pelvis, protecting the fragile organs in the abdomen. It held the body in place, preventing it from hitting the dashboard or steering wheel, and it did so without causing the devastating folding injuries of the old lap belts. Volvo immediately began installing them in their cars in 1959, and this is where the story pivots from a tale of brilliant engineering to one of extraordinary corporate morality. This is what makes it an unsung story. Once Volvo had the patent, their legal and finance departments did the math. The 3-point seatbelt was a revolutionary invention. Licensing it to every other car manufacturer in the world, Ford, General Motors, Volkswagen, everyone, would be worth billions. In today's money, it would be an almost unimaginable fortune. The company's board of directors gathered to discuss the strategy. It seemed like an open and shut case. License the patent, become fantastically wealthy. But then Nils Bohlin presented his findings. He didn't talk about revenue projections or market share. He presented a single stark slide. On it was a number: the projected annual death toll from traffic accidents if his invention was not widely and quickly adopted. It was a staggering figure, a public health crisis playing out in slow motion on the world's roads. He argued that the design's value wasn't in its patent, but in its potential to save lives. Keeping it exclusive would mean deliberately withholding a device that could prevent countless families from being torn apart. The room fell silent. The debate over profits and licensing fees suddenly seemed trivial. Faced with the raw human cost of inaction, the Volvo board made a decision that is almost unheard of in the corporate world. They voted unanimously. They would make the patent for the 3-point seatbelt open. They released the design to the public, free for any and all competitors to use without restriction, without fees, without any strings attached. They chose public safety over profit. In a quiet act of corporate conscience, Volvo gave their billion-dollar idea to the world. They didn't even advertise this decision for decades. It was simply the right thing to do. Nils Bohlin continued his work, pioneering new areas of automotive safety, and eventually retired from Volvo in 1985. He was a humble, private man who rarely sought the spotlight and gave few interviews. He received numerous awards in the engineering world, but his name never became a household one. On one of the rare occasions he was asked about the decision to give the patent away, his answer was simple and direct. "I saw no reason to profit from saving lives." Nils Bohlin passed away in 2002. By that time, it was estimated that his invention had saved over 1 million lives. And that number continues to grow exponentially. Today, that estimate is likely closer to 2 or 3 million, and it climbs every single day with every single click of a seatbelt. His work is the invisible shield protecting almost every person who travels in a car. It's an anonymous act of genius that has become a global standard, a mundane habit that saves thousands of lives a year. Nils Bohlin didn't become a billionaire. He didn't have his name plastered on stadiums or his face on magazine covers. Instead, he became something far more profound. He became a verb, a reflex, a habit that catches you before you hit the windshield. He is the quiet geometry of safety that surrounds you on every drive. Thank you for watching The Unsung. Subscribe for more stories that deserve to be told.